Hey, Record-Loving friends, it's Brian from tokyorecordstyle. I'm coming on to the tubes without much of a plan, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on the Japan vinyl tag and a few things that have been on my mind. I didn't get to make a video last week because I went to a disaster-stricken region of Japan for a continuation of some volunteer work that I do, and I was missing making some contents, and I hopped on some live streams and did some things like that, but I wanted to put something together just to mark the week. And what I wanted to do was to take a moment to just kind of update what's going on with the Japan vinyl tag. Now, why am I still talking about the Japan vinyl tag? Because this was a thing that I initiated in August 20th, if I remember, which I think is the day that I landed in Japan, 2004, August 20th, 2004. And around that time, this year, 2024, I made the Japan vinyl tag to commemorate my 20 years in Japan. And if you've participated or been paying attention to the channel, you already know this. Now, what's really cool is that I did this really for myself, and I put it out there for anybody to hop on. And amazingly, I think it's in the ballpark of 37, 34 people. I've lost count at this point who have done it. But one thing that happened along the way, I want to talk about. But I want to first shout out a couple of YouTubers who are in the VC who just got on board the Japan vinyl tag 2.5, 3 months after we launched this thing. And that is Raji from Rachel's Ghost Peanut Gallery and Mark Morris, whose videos I have not yet watched, but I will. I promise I will. And I will not only watch them, but I will do what I have been doing with all of the Japan vinyl tag lists, and that is listening to all the records. Now, more on that in just a second. I have to say that, like, Mark had mentioned to me in a live stream somewhere that, like, hey, is it okay if I hop on board to do the Japan vinyl tag, even though it's, months have passed? I'm really late to the game, but I've been wanting to do it, and I've been deliberating, and I just never got around to it. I said, go for it. And he did it. So I want him to be a inspiration for you. If you're thinking about doing the Japan vinyl tag and you sort of miss the window of opportunity, I think it's just going to stay open for a while, at least till the end of the year. And so if you're so inclined, go visit my original Japan vinyl tag video. I'll leave it linked here in the show notes. And if you're still game, before the year is over, put together a Japan vinyl tag video, and we'll make it the official 2024 list. This was a super success as far as I'm concerned. A little nobody channel from across the world for some 30 plus of you to hop on has been an incredible validation. And more than that, let me talk about Raji real quick. Raji, whose name his handle is Raji. I'll leave Raji and Mark Morris's channels in the show notes. Raji made a Japan vinyl tag, and he is a YouTuber who doesn't, or she, I'm not even sure if Raji is a man or woman. I'm sure it's a man, but he's not only does he not have any content on his channel, but he's a sort of faceless identity on YouTube, which, there are many, no judgment there. But as a faceless channel, I think he hasn't been one to sort of contribute to the pantheon of content online. He's more of a person who tunes in to live streams and comments on other people's videos, and he's given me encouragement and some great recommendations and some really great Japanese recommendations. So it's obvious that he knows his Japanese music pretty well, and he, who has never made a YouTube video before, was inspired by the Japan vinyl tag to make his first video. So I was really touched by that, and it just goes to show that, well, I don't really know what it goes to show, but it makes me feel really good. So thank you, Raji, for doing that. I'm really impressed. And I want to encourage anybody out there who's maybe hesitant to start making videos, to just, set the camera up, lean it against a coffee mug, press go, and just go for it. Because you hear people about, I'm going to do it someday, I'm going to start my channel, but they never do. And I was one of those people until one day I just started the channel. So, take a cue from Raji and from Mark Morris and hop on board and use the Japan Vinyl Tag as an opportunity to, make some new content. Now, on that note, I want to say that something happened along the Japan Vinyl Tag. Now, let me back up just a little bit because it's taken me a long time to get here. Now, something that I've discovered from doing the Tokyo Record-Style project, which is this photography project where I photograph people on the streets of Tokyo, is that I chat people up about, who are carrying record store bags, and I say, hey, did you score some records? Can I take your picture? Can I talk to you? And I'm discovering all this crazy music that is really interesting. Sometimes people get scores that I'm familiar with, but more often than not, they bought something that I've never heard of, or I don't know, or I've never taken the dive down into that little world of music. And I go home and I listen to the records that they purchase, I catalog them, and I put them on Discogs, and I add them to the Tokyo Record Style website and Instagram posts, and I actually go and take the time to listen to the records because it's like a great excuse to really level up your music knowledge and to know what people are listening to on the streets, find out really what the pulse of the streets of Tokyo is, and finally to get to know who this person is. And that's really cool. You take 3 or 4 photographs of some really interesting looking person who doesn't look anything like you into some sub-genre that you don't know anything about. You go listen to, 5 or 6 records of theirs that they bought, and you say, okay, that's what this is. That's what this whole world is. And then the next time you bump into them at the record store, you say, hey, I listened to those 3 Skinny Puppy records. I like the second one the best. And they say, whoa, really? You listen to those? You don't look like some. And I said, yeah, well, I listened to them not because I was necessarily interested in the music, even though I'm interested in getting to know you. And so I'm calling this this phenomenon of listening to people's recommendations, the human algorithm. And I've got a t-shirt about it. You can click through the show notes. I've got a thing called the human algorithm. It's just this little phrase that I coined that is just, not the Spotify algorithm, not the Google, Apple, Spotify algorithm. It's the human algorithm. It's the real thing that people are listening to. It's like radio programming by a real DJ, before they had all these, computers and algorithms programming everything. So that's been a really interesting part of the Tokyo Record Style project. Now, when I was doing the Japan Vinyl Tag, I was listening to somebody's list about the 6th or 7th person who did it. They had a couple of albums that really intrigued me. They piqued my curiosity, and I suspected they were things that I might like, and I went and listened to those records. I hadn't done that. I think I'd cataloged some of them or written them down, but I hadn't actually gone through and listened to any of the records that people were putting forth for the Japan Vinyl Tag. And I did for one of the people. I'm spacing who, but it was an amazing record. I went out and bought the record. I did a little report on the record, and I thought, wow, if this record was that great, I wonder what that other one was that he mentioned that it also piqued my curiosity. I went and listened to that, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if I listened to all the records all 20 of the records that this person put forth, and then I'd get a real peek into their personality and get a real picture of them as a person. And that has been profound. It really has been. Okay, somebody recommends, oh, you gotta listen to this record. You listen to it and it either compels you or it doesn't. But when somebody gives you 20 records to listen to, it's like a mixtape, that somebody has made for you. But instead of single songs, it's entire albums. It's like a mixed album. It's a mixed box set, essentially, what somebody's providing you. And the curated list that comes out of it, I feel, is a reflection of that person's personality. And when you put yourself sort of in their shoes and you imagine, the list that they've gone through, and it paints this picture of them, and the entire time that you're listening to all 20 of these records, which takes technically, let's say 10 to 20 hours. And sometimes people throw 2 records or 3 records into a single category. And I haven't skipped any. And since that 6th or 7th person put a Japan vinyl tag video, I have since gone through and I've listened to all 20 categories of records that each person in the Japan vinyl tag has put forth. And it takes a couple of days. And in fact, in some cases, it takes as long as like a week because you just get busy and you got to come back to it. It's like reading a book, that somebody's written. And I've got that person who put those 20 records put forth in my mind's eye the whole time. Vinyl Richie is a great example. Vinyl Richie, he loves all genres of music, but he's a punker. And a lot in hardcore and, all the subgenres of punk music. And he put a collection of actually he double dipped and put out 30 or 35 records on his dang list. And I had to listen to all of them, but it was not a chore in the slightest. A couple albums admittedly were okay, fine. But it was a worthwhile experience, and without sounding over sentimental, it brought me closer to Vinyl Richie, actually. And you'd think that you would have stumbled upon something like this a long time ago. You would have thought that music would have been a medium, and it does. It obviously brings people together in so many ways, but this has just been, as a person who has been deeply obsessed with music their whole life, this is a new little thing that I've been really, really enjoying. And people are saying to me, wow, it must be a giant pain in the neck to listen to all these records. And not at all. It's like this gift that you get to listen to records that you might have missed. And you get to know people that you might not otherwise know, and you get to know them in a more meaningful way. So incredibly rewarding process. Now, what I'm doing is I'm watching the videos, and I'm behind. So this is a little bit of a message to those who have participated in the Japan Vinyl Tag and haven't had a thank you from me or haven't had an acknowledgement from me. I've tried to, make sure everybody knows that I'm aware of their video, but it's just catch up. And so, but what I do is I listen to the records, and I make a memo of every record, and I go find not only the listing on Discogs, even though I might not have the exact, pressing or whatever. I go to YouTube, and mostly YouTube. There's been a few that haven't been on, but 99% of the albums that people have put forth have all been in full or collected in some kind of playlist that somebody collated together. They've all been on YouTube, and I go and I listen to them. And again, 99% of the cases, they're there and they exist as audio videos, but some of them are videos, and some of them have been really profound. And one of them, the one that I'm working on right now, is Frederick in Belgium at Spectrum Archives. So what I do is I list up his albums in a database, and I link them all to the YouTubes, and I can leave you a link to the entire database, and you can, and I go through them little by little, and I work through them, and I print out a simple version of them, and I make little memos next to the songs, and I say, great way to kick off this Frederick set. Supremely chic, smart. For what it's worth, there was a cover on one of his. And then this second one was I looked up this record on Wikipedia, and it's associated with this soundtrack, which I didn't know. And this one was really relaxing. And I just see a few keywords here. Soulful vocals, sexy. Boundary pushing, supremely cool, diggable planets, Tribe Called Quest. Anyway, I make these memo notes, and it helps me fulfill a promise that I made to anybody who participated in the Japan Vinyl Tag, which is to hype them up as best I can with a YouTube short and a Instagram reel, and also a social community post on YouTube, which I've been doing for everybody. So if you go to the community tab on Tokyo Record Style, you'll see everybody who's I've gotten through so far. And if you go to my shorts, you'll see a bunch of people who I've shouted out. And a little behind the scenes note, I also make these little thank you video messages to everybody who's participated in them. And I will make one for Frederick, and it'll be just to him. And it'll say, yo, Frederick, it's Brian from Tokyo. I'm going to make you a little thank you video. I just want to say thank you for making the video. And I want to take the time to give you some of the impressions that I thought about your Japan vinyl tag list, and just, honor the effort that they took to support me at my channel and to participate and, just forge more meaningful connections in the vinyl community. So that's been really, really, really exciting. So I want to encourage you, if you haven't participated in the Japan vinyl tag, to go ahead and do it. I thought I would do it again next year. However, I think I will still be listening to records that were put forth for this one into next year. I think it's going to take me like 6 months to do it. My friends keep telling me, dude, how long are you listening to those damn Japan vinyl tag records? Let's listen to something else. But it's too much fun. So I'm going to keep going at it, and maybe I'll do it again in 2026 or something like that. Maybe we'll take another stab at it. So, but don't miss out. I'll make a whole new list when it comes time, and we'll all have a chance to participate again. But get involved in this time. Get a submission in before the end of the year so it can be officially categorized as the 2024 Japan vinyl tag list. And yeah, let's be pals. Let's be record-loving pals together. And on that note, I want to send a big shout out to Paul Barack P. Dub, and also to my homie Brian Fitzgerald at Fitz Electric Bar, both of whom I got kind of connected through the Japan vinyl tag and just through my channel, and who have recently visited Japan. A few weeks ago, it was Brian and his pal Simon, and we made a little video about it. And Paul is here on business. He's a really cool dude. Both of them are supremely nice, friendly, cool, knowledgeable about music dudes. And we just had a grand old time, went to the vinyl bar, and, just had a great time hanging out with Paul last night. He shared with me some incredible stories about his work. He's working in space world. He's like a rocket dude. He's mission control. Very cool guy. And Brian Fitzgerald, aka Fitz, his video is somewhere in we made a video together, and I sang his praises as we strolled around Tokyo together. So come to Tokyo, let's be friends, let's be pals. I'm gonna keep going with the Tokyo Record Style project and the YouTube channel and the Instagram and the website. If you're not already subscribed and following, please hit the like and notification bell. And go check out tokyo.record.style on the webs, and Tokyo Record Style on Instagram as well, in all the usual places. And there's a newsletter and more and more and more. And I think that's it. Okay. And the Brian and Marty show, that's happening this weekend. I'm going to try to get an episode of the Brian and Marty show in. We're just talking about motorcycles and fatherhood and recap of what happened maybe on the Rachel's Ghost TV show, or we don't really know really, but the Brian and Marty show, we don't really have a set plan because I'm busy with family. And then I have another little side project called the Dog Log. If you're into fish, I'm a big fish head. I meet up with my buddy Michael Warren, and we talk about fish online, and that's also a weekend live stream. Okay, expect more from me, but I'm happy to have gotten something out to just mark this last week. I've got a report coming on the volunteer efforts that were last weekend. Incredible, harrowing people and stories coming out of the Noto Peninsula, and I will report on that. It'll take me a few days to put that contents together. But thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting the channel. I love being in the VC. The vinyl community, it's been just the most fun of the last year or two. I'm really new here, but I've felt so welcome. Thank you to everybody who's made me feel welcome. And very last thing, Brian Fitzgerald put forth a Thanksgiving tag, like pick 10 records that you're thankful for, or something like this. I haven't really dove into the whole thing yet, but I know Canada Thanksgiving Day was a month ago, and American Thanksgiving is coming up, but it's the time of the creative harvest. It's the end of the year, and time to have some gratitude for all the good things that have come this year. And Brian's made a little video about picking out 10 records from your collection that you're grateful for, and I've done that. So I've selected my records basically, and this weekend I'm going to put a little video and hop on his vinyl tag as a thank you for him doing mine. So maybe go check out his video. I'll leave his link in the show notes too, and maybe get your gratitude going, your thanks vibe on. All right, guys. Thank you. Subscribe, like. Next time. See you at the record store. Bye.